Hello, I am Sharon Haver from FocusOnStyle.com.
And I'm Brad Boles from the Real Housewives of New York City and also the editor-at-large for FocusOnStyle.com. And we're coming live from Boca.
we're gonna save the reason why Brad is wearing these necklaces until the end. But what we're going to do is
we're going to talk
the
about
next 10 things that wreck our nerves.
And this is a series that's going to continue because there's a lot
Our
of
nerve wreckers.
Okay, we're going to start with the number one thing because it's the winter blues on the East Coast. What happens? You go south, you go to the Caribbean, and
sometimes our videos go south. And we don't even leave our chair.
And we're going to talk about the low, square, white-heeled sandal.
The early bird special shoe?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one you see on the deck of a cruise ship.
No, carrying an overstuffed tray of food?
Absolutely, because you just did the buffet line.
So should we call them the early bird special heel or the buffet heel or maybe
the buffet heel?
The buffet heel. Okay. So what it is, the buffet heel, is the all you can eat shoe special, which is a
call
square.
Murray, could you slow down?
Darling, did you see how that waitress looked at me? She knew it was your third
She
time
likes
here.
my shoe. She's did you see how she looked at the shoe?
Selma darling. So anyway, don't do the Selma darling.
Okay,
heel.
let's talk about why the heel doesn't work.
It's the short boxy heel of sometimes involving a slingback, which only makes it and it doesn't have an open toe. It has like a wide strap, so it doesn't interfere with, I don't know, for
circulation.
But the reason it doesn't work is because it makes your calf look bulbous, and it's not flattering.
And what happened? And then your toes are painted orange.
Well, we're stuck on that. We hate Carl, so that's.
So, what's the reason? The ultimate reason that we hate these little boxy.
It makes you look dumpy. You know, there's a few people who do it, but by and large, it makes you look really.
Give us if there's a viewer out there that can send us one glamorous person that's ever worn these.
Well, I once had a Prada heel like that a few years ago.
Did you save that one too?
I probably. Oh, see, the dog is getting crazy. The dog is getting.
Because Bo is gay
it.
and he doesn't like the Florida heel either. Okay, let's talk about our next problem. Let's talk about how to tuck it. And I'm not talking drag queens tucking it. How do you tuck your shirt into a pair of pants or into a skirt?
Properly, so it doesn't budge. Can somebody please take Bo?
Without.
Hold on. Can somebody please take Bo?
Without.
Thank you.
Without your shirt crawling up. How do you do it?
Well, you kind of mimic the way it used to be. As I have a dog toy stuck.
I tuck my shirts into my underwear.
You probably tuck other things in at different times. But what you do is you tuck it in your underwear or you tuck it in your pantyhose. And when you're tucking it in your pantyhose or something taut that you're wearing underneath, hopefully you're not wearing a girdle. But if you're one of the Spanxy type gals, you can tuck it in that gal. You see that?
Well, it is winter, and I could start wearing a girdle soon.
We'll get you a man Spanx.
Yeah. I need a Myrtle.
Myrtle.
Yeah,
you know what? Maybe Myrtle wears those shoes. But when you tuck in your top into your pantyhose,
Myrtle and her girdle.
What you want to make sure is that you adjust the pleats so it fits natural, so it doesn't look all pulled to one side.
What happens if your pantyhose are now exposed to the
You don't want to do that. There are lower type pantyhose, and then you want to make sure that your guts don't hang out of them. So
okay, that's. Then now let's move on.
Let's
move on to something that has to do with licensing rights and if you're being paid to wear somebody's product. It's called logo bags.
Yeah, if somebody is paying you to be a walking advertisement for them, not even logo bags, but I think just drecked out. Notice I didn't say decked out. I put an R in that. Drecked out in somebody else's logo, particularly if it's like not a classic,
mass
brand. So if you're walking around as an ad saying go buy their goods, and then you have it on your sunglasses.
I think being much more individual is so interesting.
Yeah, my favorite ad campaign was that old Bottega Veneta one that said when your initials are enough. It's okay if you want to wear a logo bag here or there or a logoed accessory, but don't start competing brands when it's on your shoe, it's on your bag, it's on your hat. It's true. Especially, I know it's great to go and have that, logo bag that costs $1.99, but do you really want to be advertising it?
I don't know any logo bag that costs $1.99.
Oh, there's ones in, that store that has an age in it. I think they're not $1.99, but they're like $10.99. I think you want to be able to put the maker of your clothing on the down low, and it'll make it more classic and it'll last longer. You don't want to be a blazing sandwich board unless they're paying you to advertise.
Or unless it's an iconic bag.
Yeah, and just so keep the labels on a down low.
And let's talk about carpet munching lesbians in trucks.
Oh, what?
Well, I'm talking about pleated khaki cuffed shorts.
See, for me, it's the guys who go to the country club who wear the khaki pleated shorts, and they wear, it's usually a polo shirt tucked in a pastel color, a brown woven belt, and then they wear loafers without any socks.
I know, but there's a reason why the pleat has not come back.
It doesn't look good.
Pleats
you all look pregnant.
Yeah, unless you've got the
even
flattest,
you guys with the belly.
Unless you've got the flattest stomach in the world.
And it's just they're usually in that ugly shade of khaki,
and then you
beige,
add
tan.
Then you add a cuff.
Yeah. So when you guys are wearing shorts.
Oh, and then how about in our last segment about things that drive us nuts, like wreck our nerves? Now add that khaki short to those famous, wonderful white tennis shoes that you love.
Oh yeah, the
that was in the last one.
Those, yeah, but I don't know which is worse: the white, disgusting, bulbous tennis, all-terrain, all sport, meaning no sport shoes, or when you're wearing a guy wearing loafers without socks and baggy shorts that look like culottes.
Okay,
so your shorts should fit you nicely.
Yeah, so when is your khaki too short?
The too much information. Guys should keep their shorts right around their knee or even at the knee when they start getting too high on the thigh. Creepy. I know it was like a Prada thing last year.
Let's move on. Let's talk about something that's really disturbing to me and always has been.
The return.
I don't know why it's returning, but let's talk about scrunchies and hair accessories. Barrettes.
See, I like some good hair accessories.
When's the last time you wore a barrette?
I don't.
And what age do you let go of the barrette?
I used to once have like a
French
twist that I held together.
And then what are those like?
What
are those claw things? What are those?
Yeah, those clothes
that they
the kind of things that look like they should.
And a couple of the housewives that I work with, they wear them all the time.
Because it makes your hair look high. But those claw things look like you're going to put a quarter in the machine and you're going to be able to
what about the bump
pull up
what about a bump it?
Stuffed animal. The bump it is another thing. And then we were talking before about that leftover thing, which I admit had been done to me by hairstylists, and I had done myself. And they used to do it on photo shoots all the time. When you take a pair of pantyhose, like in my case, it would be brown pantyhose.
So this was before the bump it, by the way.
Before the bump it, the makeshift bump it. So you roll up the pantyhose, so it's a nice bump it size ball. You put it in, and then you put your hair above, and then you could do a really high.
But you remember before the pantyhose, before that, it was the toilet. No, before the pantyhose, it was the toilet paper roll. Back in the '60s, they would bump it.
That's right.
So now let's talk about.
It's like using the beer can
let's
as
talk
a hair
about when you just look like you don't even want to leave the house. The droopy shoulder.
So, if you notice, I'm wearing a dress that's kind of soft shouldered.
And I'm wearing a shirt that is fitted properly.
But the reason this is not looking droopy on me is because it fits my shoulders.
Correct.
No matter if you're wearing something that's tailored, if you're wearing something constructed, if you're wearing a sweater, whatever it is, a sweatshirt, it should always fit neatly across your shoulder line.
If you're a medium, don't wear an extra large.
Right. And then when you do wear something that's kind of a cold shoulder, off the shoulder, it still needs to fit across here so it looks pretty. So.
Right. Let's talk about
it makes you look schlumpy.
Let's talk about a very disturbing trend in the last couple of years.
Disturbing.
Again, amongst the it girls in Hollywood and a particular stylist in LA that kind of brought back this trend, the tent dress. Now, when you're 92 pounds, a tent dress can work. Well, but the mistake that you average American girls do is you're wearing...
Which is nothing bad about being an average American girl.
Not at all. Is that you don't have but you don't have the style advice to know how to wear a tent dress.
Well, I think one of the problems about a tent dress is that you think because it's big and loose, you can hide in it. But when you're wearing
you're knocking over the wine glasses.
But it's about balance and proportion. Yeah. So if you have big kneecaps, if you have heavy legs, whether it be because you have chubby legs or you're really muscular, wearing a dress like that will make you look that much bigger because it will emphasize your knees. So to pull off a tent dress well, you really need long, gorgeous legs and a high heel.
Or you can belt it with a 3-inch thick elastic belt, which is very sexy.
Or even a low belt and make sure you tuck it. But just, show some shape to it, and that would give you a better sense of balance and proportion. And it's always boils down to balance and proportion no matter what.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about my biggest subject of all, hair in all the right places.
But you can't say mustaches on women.
Okay, that's true. The Magnum PI is kind of rearing its ugly head.
A woman is kind of Magnum PI mustache.
No, that trend's kind of coming back with guys, but
hairy hipster who looks like he can take a bath.
Let's talk about mustaches
on women.
And let's talk.
And I'm a fair-skinned brunette.
I mean,
and that normally when your brunettes have,
there really just isn't any leeway here for an excuse.
No, and what fades naturally in the summer sun will be more apparent in the winter. And when you put makeup on it, it will stick to it.
And it turns orange.
And if you use bleach and you have a thick mustache, you're going to end up having a thick blonde mustache like Brad. You're going to look like Brad.
And if you're able to braid it, you're really in trouble. So girls, there are depilatories out there. There are laser therapy.
Electrolysis, old-fashioned electrolysis.
I mean, there's no excuse.
And if you wax it, remember it has to grow in.
All right, we got to move forward quickly. Let's talk about hoodies, when they're right and when they're not.
I like casual hoodies.
Yeah, do you like them up or do you like them down?
I like them down, and if you're wearing them under a jacket as a layer, because I do like the way some of them.
I think they look great if you pair them with a John Bavato's jacket and you throw the hoodie over it. It's great. So when do you think it's appropriate to wear the hoodie up?
When it's freezing or you're robbing a
bank.
bank.
So if you're doing the Rocky thing and going up the stairs.
Or robbing a bank or it's freezing.
Oh, okay, good. Excellent for you bank robbers out there. Now, let's talk about one of the worst trends that's happened in the last 10, 15 years. When you start to dress and look like the person you either live with, or your mate, your husband, your wife.
I guess we do, because the last one of these videos, I was wearing this necklace.
When you end up starting to look like the person that you cohabitate with.
What if I spend too much time with?
Or either or.
Well, I think what happens is I know my husband and I sometimes get out in the car and we're like, oh, we're both wearing zippers. And I think, you kind of gravitate to each other's style, and I think it's fine to have clothes that are similar, but if you're going to an event or a party and you're standing there and you're both wearing, red tops.
The same outfit.
Do not plan. Yeah, it's like, you know what, if it happens
we should go to a party and we're both wearing plaid. I love that.
If it happens by accident, it's okay. I mean, you got to catch a break on some things. But don't plan to be wearing the same outfit. You should be planning. If you're
it's like the Brady Bunch.
If you're going to a red carpet, you want to plan that you look well and complement each other together because your pictures
but that you have your individual style.
Don't do your own thing.
Okay, let's talk about frayed hems on jeans. When is it too much and when is it contrived?
See, I like a frayed hem. When
I love a frayed
hem.
But what happens when you take the scissors and you do it yourself?
And it looks like you did it yourself.
And how often does that happen?
It looks like the girl in the mall who's trying to work the trend. I think when you do it yourself and you cut it, you always have to pull the white threads out, and then you should probably rough it up with some sandpaper so it mimics a natural fray.
And throw it in the wash a few times and let it really
and
become organic.
Put it in, and exactly, have it be organic. And at a certain age, and you're better off not wearing them.
All right, and we're going to talk about our bonus nerve-wracking point.
Brad is a bonus boy.
Guys in chains. When is it? When is it too much, or when is it never right? If you're a rapper and if that's your industry and it works because it's your whole vibe, but if you're like a regular toe on the line sort of kind of cool dude
and has your hair sticking out of the chain,
I think we got to lose the chains, guys, because you know what? There's nothing pretty about...
They're kind of diamondy, so maybe I should take them?
Yeah, there's nothing pretty about...
One's Brad. So you said one is yours, so how do you wear the chain?
Oh, I just leave them on the table and look at them.
So you just use them.
Yeah.
So they're a prop.
They're a prop.
They're not an accessory.
Guys, unless you're wearing a little leather strap around the neck, maybe with something fun and you're in your 20s, it's cool if you're a surfer,
and don't wear jewelry that gets stuck in your chest.
The only accessory as a jewelry that a guy should be wearing after the age of 30 is his wedding ring and a beautiful watch.
A good watch. Or even the same thing with the little little leather bracelet or a thin, heavy chain, more of a steel bracelet, it's okay. But don't go girly in your jewelry.
All right. Thank you for joining us on FocusOnStyle.com, and remember that you can check out our columns weekly if I remember to write them.
And he admits to it. Take care, stay gorgeous, and see you soon.